What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant. And today, it is officially the 4-year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto Online. It launched on this day, October 1st, back in 2013. So, I thought, why not do a rant regarding the 4-year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto Online? And this is going to be kind of a fun rant. So, I have like 3 degrees of rants, okay? I got the normal level rant where most of the time, I try to stay level-headed. I don't raise my voice. I don't get too salty. Sometimes I crack a few jokes. Then I get really salty in other rants, depending on my mood or the alignment of the stars, the planet, the mood. You get the idea. And then sometimes we have a fun rant. And today it's a fun rant regarding Grand Theft Auto Online's 4-year anniversary. So today, 4 years ago, a lot of us logged into our Xbox 360, our PlayStation 3, after a few weeks of playing Grand Theft Auto 5, which I thoroughly enjoyed, by the way, eager to finally dive into Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, what's interesting is I did not purchase Grand Theft Auto 5 initially for Grand Theft Auto Online. I was excited about Grand Theft Auto 5's story, and being a huge Grand Theft Auto fan before that, with almost every game in the series going all the way back to 1997 with the original Grand Theft Auto game. Yes, so I'm a big Grand Theft Auto fan, obviously. I just wanted to play the story. I really kind of gave Grand Theft Auto Online a second thought and only found out about Grand Theft Auto Online in August 2013 when the official trailer for Grand Theft Auto Online dropped. By the way, the trailer is linked below in the description section because what we're going to be ranting about revolves more or less around that trailer. Not everything, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that we rant about in this video that's in the trailer. And like I said, this is going to be kind of a cheesy rant, not a salty one. Alright, so anyways, the first thing I want to talk about is the character customization that we had back on last gen. It was awful. It was not very good. They did this whole like heredity thing where you could like pick between like these different fuggy looking characters. Like there was like, I think one for Marston, there was one for Nico, and I think one for Claude. But like all the other characters, male and female, for the most part, they looked ugly as hell. You had to pick out a mother, a father. You had to decide which one you looked more or less alike. We still have it in current gen, but current gen customization is a lot better than last gen. I'll just say that. It wasn't as good. But at the same time, there was some level of customization for the physical features of our characters in Grand Theft Auto Online on launch 4 years ago. Now, here was the issue. So you went through all this trouble to try and make your character look somewhat, I don't know, like you or how you wanted your character to be. And once you got that done, you'd go through like the opening scene, flying into Los Santos from Liberty City, because that's where the protagonist is from, Liberty City. Flying into Los Santos to start a new life. And Lamar, who you've been having correspondence with, meets you at LSIA. He drives you around, gives you a quick tour. Then you go up to Rockford Hills and you do a racing tutorial. And day one, this was a nightmare. Because you'd go through the tutorial after creating your character, and then this happened so many times for me, it wasn't even funny. Eventually, Rockstar obviously fixed it. Within, I think, a day or two, this was fixed. But day one, it froze like a mofo. Like, you start walking to your car, that some random NPC would pull up that you would race in for that tutorial race, and you would have Soul Wax playing in the background, and it would freeze. And you would just sit there waiting for like a minute, then 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you're having to endure Soul Wax FM, one of the radio stations, before you finally gave up and started over completely. And so I did that a few times day one, and I got to the point where I was about ready to say, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to go back to playing Grand Theft Auto 5 Story, even though I'd already beaten it like twice. But yeah, I was kind of ready to give up on Grand Theft Auto Online day one because of the freezing. But fortunately, Rockstar did fix that issue eventually. But at the same time, anytime I hear Soul Wax on the radio, I quickly turn it off because it just brings up all those bad memories of the day one freeze. Plus, I really don't care for the music on Soul Wax. But, you know, to each their own. Some people may actually like that music. Okay, so moving into the trailer itself now. Some scenes I just want to bring up and some of the dialogue by the female narrator. Now, there's a scene where players are casually, you know, riding around in boats and jet skis out by the lighthouse. This doesn't really happen in Grand Theft Auto Online. Unless there's like a chase happening between you and another player and you're shooting at each other. I rarely see people just casually out by the lighthouse, you know, riding around in boats and jet skis having a good time. It doesn't really happen. Then quickly shows a team deathmatch over by news headquarters. And that's a place that players rarely go to as well. We hardly ever go to Noose. I mean, I don't, because like if you spawn a helicopter over there or your Hydra, you have to get on top of the freaking building, which is a pain in the ass to do in order to get your helicopter, your Buzzard, your Hydra, your Savage. It's so very time consuming and annoying. And death matches. I mean, death matches used to be a thing back in the day. Not so much now. Then they show arm wrestling. Now, unless you're doing a daily objective, like, nobody gives two shits for arm wrestling in Grand Theft Auto Online. Especially Phoenix, because he sucks at arm wrestling. Then there was this other scene, which I'm showing screenshots of, by the way. I'm not going to show the video because I'm kind of, you know, antsy about that. Because last time I tried to put video from a trailer, Rockstar came after me. Well, Take-Two came after me, and they gave me a copyright claim. I don't want copyright claims or strikes. No thanks. So, screenshots it is. And you, like I said, if you want to watch the trailer yourself and have a good laugh about what Rockstar had in mind originally for Grand Theft Auto Online and what it is now, feel free and click on it below in the description section. So there's this scene where people are riding motorcycles off what appears to be a cliff or a mountain, and they all jump off their motorcycles in midair and they're parachuting. And I don't seem to recall anything like that except for in like the Heist finale, like for Pacific Standard, but that's only 4 players. And so this is just something casually happening in the game. You know, you're just riding around having a good time, and oh, there's a perfectly good cliff that we're just gonna, you know, ride off of, all with our motorcycles, jump off our motorcycles, and parachute down the Raton Canyon. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Then they mention the contact missions, which make me a little salty. I did do a discuss video about contact missions, what, a week or so ago? Because I love contact missions, but it brought up some painful memories. For one thing, back in the day, we still had the replay option for contact missions. So if you wanted to do like Rooftop Rumble or Trash Talk or any of the other missions that you love, making money, grinding over and over again, all you had to do is after the mission was over and hit replay. That's all you had to do. But Rockstar eventually removed the replay option for contact missions, even though things cost way more now in the game than they did back 4 years ago. And then Coveted, one of several missions that Rockstar took out of the game. You know, it was a mission that a lot of us love playing. Not only was it fun, you could also make money doing Coveted. Of course, first Rockstar tried to buff Coveted, and then they completely stripped it out as well. And they did that with 2 or 3 other missions, and it sucks because those were missions that myself and others really enjoyed playing. So thanks, Rockstar, for that. Then there's a scene in, I guess, a lobby where you break into a cheetah supercar. Now, there are a few supercars that actually do spawn in free roam, like the Bullet. But to this day, 4 years later, I've never seen a cheetah spawn in Rockford Hills in free roam. I've never seen it. I mean, you can buy a cheetah, obviously. You know, it's down somewhere at the bottom of Legendary Motorsports. But no NPC cheetahs have I ever seen in Grand Theft Auto Online. Well, maybe, you know, after the addition of import-export when you're specifically going after said supercars. But I'm just talking about like a random car. Like you see Dominators all the time. You see Bullets. You see several other vehicles like Ballers. But I've never seen a cheetah supercar that you could just break into and steal. But at the same time, you couldn't keep it anyways because it would be considered too hot to store in your garage or sell at Los Santos Customs. So in the end, it really doesn't matter. But still, it's just funny that, you know, you show that in the trailer, Rockstar, yet where are the cheetahs? I guess they're extinct. Then they talk about Heists. Oh my, we had to talk about Heists, didn't we? Because we were led to believe that we would get Heists, you know, I guess at day one, because Rockstar didn't mention anything in the trailer about, you know, and eventually we're going to add Heists. No, in the trailer, basically implies that we can go off and do a heist with some friends. And we all know how that went. Yeah, about 2 years later, we finally did get Heists. I mean, I think it was worth the wait, and I realized that Rockstar had issues with Heists and the way it was done. They had to scrap it, redo it, till they got it to where it could work better. But at the same time, I just don't like it whenever, you know, a company makes promises and tells you that you're going to be able to do something, and then you're not able to do it for at least 2 years. Anyways, you know, that's water under the bridge, right? Then they show us a scene of you being able to rob a liquor store. Okay, so that was fun 4 years ago, but to be honest, most people don't really care to rob liquor stores. I mean, if you're bored and you're just driving around free roam and you just happen to drive by a convenience store or a liquor store, I mean, yeah, sure, let's go rob it and get like $1,200, which won't even buy you anything anymore in the game. Kind of a waste of time, really. Then it talks about completing classic online modes, such as, you know, death matches. You know, it's sad because I kind of like doing death matches, and, you know, whenever they eventually added captures and LTSs and survivals, especially survivals, but unfortunately, you know, that's just something that a lot of players really don't do anymore in Grand Theft Auto Online. But it was kind of a thing back then, survivals and death matches. Then it talks about how we could do so much more in Grand Theft Auto Online, like golf. Honestly, except for, once again, the daily objectives, most of us really don't care to play golf. I mean, I prefer playing golf over tennis, because at least with golf, you only can do like one hole if you want, instead of having to do the entire, you know, what, 9 holes? But in tennis, you have to play an entire game, and that takes forever, even if you're just trying to lose. So I'd much rather do golf than tennis, to be honest. But, you know, once again, no one really plays golf, tennis, or arm wrestling unless they absolutely have to in order to earn that $25,000 for a daily objective. Then they show this really epic battle scene from one of the missions, Titan of a Job. And it's just the way that the players just rush in their cars at full speed heading towards the hangar. They all jump out all action movie style. Yeah, we kind of don't do that in Titan of a Job. You know, we pull up, we're smart. We're more strategic, you know. We use our cars kind of like a protection. We get behind the car, and then we snipe the NPCs, and then we move in and finish the rest off. We don't go in all high-speed, you know, Michael Bay movie-esque style. Of course, after that scene, the narrator talks about how, you know, once you're done, you know, making some money, you can spend that petty cash on customizing your character. Petty cash, yeah, right. On the outfits, weapons, clothing, hairstyles, etc. And it costs a little bit more these days than what I would deem to be petty cash to buy clothing, weapons, or even vehicles. A lot more. Of course, the big thing that everyone aspired for in Grand Theft Auto Online 4 years ago was to buy a really good supercar, probably, and get a high-end apartment. That was the big thing that was featured, promoted in the original trailer. Like, you could buy an apartment so friends can stop by and hang out. Yeah, that doesn't really happen either. I mean, to be honest, I barely go to my high-end apartments. I mean, usually I'm spawning at a bunker, I'm spawning at the hangar, I'm spawning inside of one of my garages. I rarely spawn inside one of the high-end apartments. And the only real motivation to have the high-end apartment is A, for the heist room, so you can do heists, and B, you know, for a garage, you know, because, you know, the high-end apartments each do come with 10-car garages. And back then, that was such a big deal. We could buy a garage. That's right. You could aspire to go from having a 2-car garage to your own 10-car garage, baby, so you could fill it with 10 custom cars. That was the thing back then. Nowadays, not so much. You know, somebody's like, now, you only got 10 cars? What? Wow, I feel sorry for you. I've got like 100. But back then, 10 cars was the thing. And then it talks about races in the trailer. Okay, you can take your custom cars racing. Okay, that's cool. Obviously, you can do that still with the regular races, which people don't really do anymore. They're more about the the cunning stunt races, which, in my opinion, are way better than the standard races. So you can take your vehicles in your garage that you can customize racing by land, air, and sea. Okay, so let's just think about that line for a moment. So obviously, you could take your vehicles in your garage racing by land, but not by air or sea, because they're cars and they're trucks. So that one didn't really make sense. I mean, especially, the sea part, because as of right now, we don't have the ability to purchase our customized vehicles and store them anywhere that are, water-based. I mean, thanks to Smuggler's Run, yeah, we do have customizable aircraft that we can put in our hangar, but we don't have the same thing for sea vehicles as of yet. I'm sure that's probably somewhere on the horizon for Rockstar, probably maybe even before the end of the year, maybe in December we'll get a DLC like that. But as of right now, we don't have customizable seacraft. And, 4 years ago, we didn't have customizable aircraft either. So that was kind of a misleading line there, making us think that we would be able to customize, cars, trucks, boats, planes, and no. That was not the case. Or simply cruise around showing off. So there's a scene of these cars just driving down the street near the theater. And yeah, that doesn't really happen so much in a public lobby either, unless you want to get blown to bits by a Hydra, a buzzard, somebody in a tank. Yeah, no. And then there's a scene where you're buying a Shamal off of Elitist. I don't know anybody that actually bought a Shamal. Did you buy a Shamal? No, did you? Oh, you did? Why? You could have just went and got a Luxor at the airport. Wow, Rockstar saw you coming, didn't they? I mean, to be honest, who wants a freaking Shamal? I mean, they made it look like it was such a big deal in the trailer. It's like, yeah, no big deal. Then there's a very interesting line in the trailer that actually, has been fulfilled in spades. Rockstar will be developing more content for you to enjoy. And boy, did they. I mean, we got, a month later, we got Beach Bum. Some people complain about Beach Bum. I defend it because there was some cool clothing that came with it. Plus, we got a really cool boat, the Speeder, and a really cool off-road vehicle, the BF Bifta. And at the time, that content was free, by the way. And since then, we've got like a ton of DLC. I mean, yes, quote-unquote free DLC. And unfortunately, the items in the DLC has gotten more expensive, and it's become more difficult to grind to purchase these items, properties, without needing a shark card or several shark cards. But at the same time, Rockstar has technically, kept their end of the deal, 4 years later by continuing to add tons of new content to the game. Like supercars, muscle cars, sports cars, motorcycles, more property, more garages, various business ventures like the CEO buildings, the warehouses, as well as, like I mentioned, the bunkers, the hangars, the biker businesses as well, along with the biker clubhouses. So yes, Rockstar has definitely added a ton more content to Grand Theft Auto Online over the past 4 years. But at the same time, Rockstar and Take-Two have made billions of dollars, at least $1 billion off the shark cards from all that content that they've added to Grand Theft Auto Online. So it's really kind of a win-win, I suppose. And then the big thing that they promoted in this trailer was what was coming up, the content creator. And we, at the time, were really, really excited about this. We had the ability to eventually design and customize our own races and death matches. And the community really did create some awesome races and death matches back in the day. It's just sad that, despite the fact that it's mentioned in the trailer, that we'll have the ability to share them with friends, the world, or try, ones that others have made. Most people don't really care anymore for any of the death matches are the races, well, the standard races in Grand Theft Auto Online. And I created so many different types of, races, death matches. Eventually, they added creators for captures, for LTSs. LTSs kind of became a thing, but at the same time, it's sad that there's so many people that created like a really good race or a really good death match or a really good capture, and they were lucky to get maybe a few of their friends to play it. It never really became as popular as it could have been. And I'm also kind of salty we don't have a survival creator either, because we only got like a handful of survivals. Thanks, Rockstar. And then the final thing I want to rant about that we no longer have in Grand Theft Auto Online that we had 4 years ago in free roam: armored trucks. I loved the armored trucks, Rockstar. They were fun because you could always see like an armored truck like spawn on the map, or one of those crates that would drop. And it was just exciting to see players just go after an armored truck or go after one of those crates. Even if it wasn't a special crate drop with like a limited edition t-shirt or a hat. It was just fun to do. It was simple, but it was exciting at the same time. And especially the armored trucks, because you see an armored truck, you'd sneak up behind it, you'd throw a sticky bomb on the back door, blow it up, get out of your car, run over there, grab the money, drive off. And no thanks to the free mode updates, we no longer have that kind of fun in Grand Theft Auto Online on current gen. I guess that's a plus for last gen, because they still have the old school free mode activities, but instead we got all this other stuff as well. So it's kind of a trade-off, but I really do miss the armored trucks, Rockstar. I totally do. I really wish that we still had that, along with some of the other stuff that eventually got added, like the Lester assassinations, some of the other assignments. There's also assignments for Trevor and Gerald, and there's also like a distraction for Lester where you had to like distract the cops for like 10 minutes and you got paid a few bucks. Those were added later, but then they were quickly taken out thanks to the free mode update, and I enjoyed those. I really did. I mean, that's just me, though. But anyways, yeah, I kind of wish at the very least we still had, armored trucks randomly spawning in the map. It just shows up, and you see the people go crazy for it. Or, like I said, like a random crate drop, even if it's not a special crate drop. It was still cool, though, because, players would all of a sudden be, like, making a beeline to Blaine County or down south of the map or up to Paleto Bay, depending on where this was taking place. It was just something that randomly happened in the game that kind of changed the dynamic, because people would be just running around shooting each other, which is what they do instead of going into death matches. They would just, kill each other left and right on the streets of Los Santos and up near Sandy Shores. It was just something cool that was in the game, and it's sad that we no longer have the armored trucks or the crates or some of the other stuff that I mentioned as well that were taken out. Once again, thanks to the free mode update. And finally, speaking of creepy Uncle Lester, for 4 years now, whenever I've called you for help, every now and then you have enticed me over the years. You have teased me with another service that you have yet to provide, going on 4 years now, Lester, and I'm sick and tired of this. The Backrubs. Where are they, Lester? I want my Backrubs. I want to be laid out on a table. I want the rubbing oil. I want the freaking candles. I want the romantic music. But no, 4 years going on in this game and not one single back rub from Lester. What's the deal, Rockstar? What's the deal? Anyways, yes, a lot has changed regarding Grand Theft Auto Online over the past 4 years. Some for the better, like going from last gen to current gen. The graphics definitely better. We got first person mode, even though most people don't really care for first person mode. We got a ton of new content that has been added over the past 4 years, but at the same time, Rockstar and Take-Two have made a ton of money on our behalf from all the shark cards, the small fortunes that they have gotten out of our pockets. No, I'm not talking about our Maze bank accounts. I'm talking about our real bank accounts. But anyways, I have loved the journey so far over the past 4 years. The ups, the downs, and I don't know how much longer this ride is going to last, because, Rockstar is starting to really promote Red Dead Redemption 2, which I'm also looking forward to. I'm also dreading it because of the fact that who knows what Red Dead Online is going to be like. I fear it's going to go the same way that Grand Theft Auto Online went, but I guess only time will tell. Anyways, if you have a rant suggestion for a future episode, be it about Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, Mafia, gaming in general, or YouTube, feel free and send it my way via the comments section below or various social medias linked in the description, Twitter, or Facebook.